Hello guys, my name is Nicole DeVocal and I am from the class of BAPUS AP41. So together with my classmates, we are going to discuss the chapter 9 about the innovation and entrepreneurship. And now we will start with the introduction.
Greetings everyone, I am Terrence Molino and I'll be discussing about Peter Drucker's views regarding on innovation. According to him, systematic innovation involves monitoring 7 sources for innovative opportunity. The first 4 internally focused within the business or industry, and that they may be visible to those involved in that organization or sector. The last 3 involve changes outside the business or industry. Moreover, if you are looking for a new business opportunity, monitoring these 7 sources may provide you with an innovation opportunity. First 4 internally focused. The first is the unexpected. An unexpected success, an unexpected failure, or an unexpected outside event can be a symptom of a unique opportunity. Second is the incongruity. A discrepancy between reality and what everyone assumes it to be, or between what is and what ought to be, can create an innovative opportunity. Third is innovation based on process needs. When a weak link is evident in a particular process, but people work around it instead of doing something about it, an opportunity is available to the person or company willing to supply the missing link. The last in the internally focused is the changes in industry or market structure. The opportunity for an innovative product, service, or business approach, of course, when the underlying foundation of the industry or market shifts. Next are the internally focused. First, demographics. Changes in the population size, age structure, composition, employment, level of education, and income can create innovative opportunities. 6 is in the perception, mood, and meaning. Innovative opportunities can develop when a society's general assumption, attitudes, and beliefs change. Next is new knowledge. Advances in scientific and non-scientific knowledge can create new products and new markets. Now, if you're looking for a new business opportunity, monitoring these 7 sources may help you provide with an innovation opportunity. In the next slide, you will see Peter Drucker's 7 sources of innovation in pyramids. First is the unexpected, which is the success, failure, and outside event. The second is the incongruities, which is the economics, reality, values, and rhythm of the business or of the industry. Third is the process needs, is what we've discussed earlier. Fourth is industry market structure. There is like the growth, the maturing coverage model. And the 3 left are the externally focused, which are the demographics and changes in perception, new knowledge. It's from high reliability to low reliability.
Joseph Alloy's computer believes that innovation is a process of industrial mutation that continuously destroys the pre-existing system and builds a new one, hence revolutionizing the economy from within. While citing the theory of economic development, he described development as a historical process of structural changes, substantially driven by innovation, which was thereafter divided by him into 5 types that are stated in the PPT or the PowerPoint presentation. Computer definition of entrepreneurship has a functional aspect and exclusively refers to tasks and activities associated with innovation. He further argues that an entrepreneur may also be someone who does not possess any capital. Moreover, computer finds for entrepreneur 3 more motives to act, and these are the desire to create his or her own kingdom, the desire for gain, and the joy of creation.
Discusses Michel's claim and correlate it to how innovation and entrepreneurship are interrelated. He believes in 2 points: scientific investigation and discovering circumstances. He believes that successful scientific investigation leads to or produces scientific discovery. Things, events, processes, causes, and attributes, as well as ideas and hypotheses and their characteristics can all be considered as object of discovery. Discovering circumstances entails having precise knowledge of the past, present, or future, what and when you're aware. It is commonly believed to be an all-inclusive, empirically supported method of stakeholder involvement that generates knowledge about the potential for new activities, allowing research and innovation processes to be targeted effectively. Correlate it to how innovation and entrepreneurship interrelated. Contrarily, entrepreneurship uses innovation to make aspirations and ideas in a reality. It is social invention that enables individuals to achieve things they previously could not. Entrepreneurs profit from the invention. They promote innovation and help business grow. Making something new is the process of innovation. Through tremendous invention, entrepreneurship discovers possibilities and builds profitable business. If we consider it in the context of Michel's argument and consider how innovation and entrepreneurship are connected, we can see the scientific and social conditions are crucial for an entrepreneur who wants to succeed. He requires arguments that are factual, logical, and reasonable, supported by solid data that has passed extensive testing. Also needs to be relevant to society's demands and interests in a timely manner without risking being overlooked.
Good evening, everyone, especially to you, Ma'am Padola. My name is Luis Cantarde La Rosa, and I will be discussing the building blocks of both innovation and successful entrepreneurship. So, there are three competence that contribute in the success in both innovation and success in entrepreneurship. These three competences are innovation, risk tolerance, and visionary. Innovation. Innovation is the ability to formulate and shape novel ideas. Innovation can be the thought that includes two components, which is creativity. A creative mind to having entrepreneurial skills to bring those creative ideas to life in a business setting, such as creativity help us to think how to improve and existing business practices. Execution. Execution is the gap between having ideas and putting it into motion is typically very small. Few factors of this contributes are experienced entrepreneurs place value in creating momentum and getting initiative of getting the right foot in crucial to its success. One example of this is you have an idea, the first thing to do even before starting serious work on the project is to make announcement or set a public deadline.
Risk tolerance. The level of comfort one has with taking calculated risk. What differentiates entrepreneurs from non-entrepreneurs is their confidence in their decision making. The true entrepreneur reduces risk to the point that starting something is a small matter or trivial task as he or she calculated the risk and planned them ahead of the time. Risk does not necessarily have to exist as a part of the equation. It's simply part of the road that one takes towards success. So one of the examples of this is on the next slide.
Visionary, the ability to formulate and articulate a vision in terms that are clear and actionable can make all the difference in the success of an entrepreneur. Entrepreneurs plans for success, plans for status quo, plans for decline, and more, as having these plans really allow the individual to take steps well in advance and be prepared for any outcome. A vision statement is important to a company because it serves as a strategic plan for success. The example of visionary is given if Adler wanted to help homeless people. He created a Miracle Messages, a volunteer-based non-profit organization with a goal of helping homeless people reconnect with loved ones. The vision for this organization includes building a vast network of volunteers and partnership to stop homelessness and bring people together.
At this juncture, I will be discussing the competencies and core competencies. Entrepreneurship competencies include creativity, initiative, problem solving, resource management, financial and technological understanding. These competencies help entrepreneurs and entrepreneurial employees to initiate and adapt to change. They can be cultivated by entrepreneurship education and training that promotes an entrepreneurial mentality and behaviors. What is individual competencies? Individual competencies refers to an individual's or employee's ability to act in a wide range of scenarios. Their education, abilities, experience, energy, and attitudes will make or break the relationships with the customers and the product or services provided. Competencies are significant at the person level for establishing job or task content. To be effective in the role, both technological and behavioral requirements must be defined. In my experience, most companies focus on the technical competency requirements, says Michael Lovett. Organizations that hire or promote employees based on technical skills. Depending on the role, organizations must take a balanced approach to evaluating new hires, promotions, performance, and succession planning based on both the technological and behavioral competencies required.
Technical competencies. Technical competencies are the specific knowledge, skills, and abilities that are applied to accomplishing a specific task, job, or function. Don't confuse technical skills with operational goals. Operational goals are specific projects or output, and technical skills are necessary to make the output happen. Behavioral competencies. When an organization identifies its organizational competencies, they are generally intended to apply all employees. Employees at all levels of the organization struggle because these skills apply to them differently and inconsistently. Individual performance indicators are more specific than organizational competencies and capabilities. Also, a variety of competencies need to be defined so as to provide applicability to different positions or jobs to describe how the job is to be done.
How can individual competence help organization achieve their strategic goals? Living strategies. The everyday actions and discussion of organization members, regardless of their role, should thus be guided or aligned with the strategic goals of the organization. Or, in other words, it should have the core values, which are the vision, mission, and values, needed to break down into individual employees' behavior. Here are some few great questions. Individual skills and abilities will be needed by an organization to achieve its goal. Which knowledge will be indispensable for the future of the organization? And lastly, we have which personal attributes and motives will fit the organization values. Strategic alignment of HR function powered by competence, referring to the same set of strategic derived competence throughout an organization allows different HR functions to speak in the same language or to function coherently. By creating a standard of needed skills and abilities in the recruiting will help HR to understand what the organization goals or what the organization is going forward to or what is going to look moving forward. Just as the teeth of every gear wheels interlock to transfer movement and energy, an HR functioned by competence must do that in order to have a coherent or flow of movement within the organization.
Recruiting, realizing in which areas the organization experiences a skills shortage. It helps identifying higher needs. Furthermore, referring to a competency catalog facilitates the crafting of compelling job ads as well as the use of competency-based interviews. Learning and development. Having a better understanding of strategically relevant competencies enables the creation of targeted training programs. It not only helps employees decide in which competencies they should invest, but also establishes role profiles for managers and subject matter experts. Performance management. Competencies can be used as more objective criteria to evaluate the performance of employees and their promotion readiness. Moreover, the introduction of competence-based assessment and appraisal methods will be facilitated. And lastly, organizational development. Working with an organization-wide set of competencies that are aligned with strategic goals can be used as baseline for several organizational development initiatives, strategic planning of key positions, aligning of career paths, establishing a job architecture, just to name a few.
Next, we have the collective competencies that are based on the notion of collective work configurations. It is understood as the work configurations in which collective action supplants individual action. That is, individual work must follow the determinations of collective work. In other words, it refers to the participation and interaction of individuals in a work groups. Individual work is subjective or is subjected to organizational norms, the context of assignments and work processes, among other aspects. Thus, collective competency is defined as an intermediate component in the functioning of organization. It is placed between individual competencies at the micro level and organizational competencies at the macro level.
Collective competence, moving from individual to collaborative expertise. Organizations that want to develop the collective competence of their teams need to facilitate and drive the process by encouraging an active, deliberate exchange of information between team members through structured conversations. This information exchange enables team members to function in their individual roles with an awareness of each other in terms of their respective skills and knowledge and an understanding of their work system. So this implies that with an understanding of their work system and each other's abilities and expertise, team members can perform their particular duties because of this information exchange. In addition, working as a team not only drives great productivity, but also fosters healthy relationships between employees. When employees work together, they are often more effective and efficient than those who attempt to manage the same work or the same projects alone. Because of this, productive teamwork may increase employee motivation and level of engagement at work. Additionally, brainstorming and idea exchange help in creation of original solutions to difficult problems. Embracing the concept of collective competence has also implications for evaluation and quality improvement. While it will always be essential to assess the performance of individuals, collective competence requires us also to think about how we evaluate and remediate, when necessary, the collective performance of the team. So as for me as a student, the main point of this lesson is that adopting the idea of collective competence has effects on evaluation and quality enhancement as well. While evaluating an individual's performance will always be important, collective competence calls on us to also consider how we evaluate and improve, if necessary, the collective performance of the team.
Let's talk about core competencies. We have here two definitions. One states that these are learnable behaviors of the entire organization that are essential in achieving competence in relation to its purpose and its competitive environment. Secondly, these are corporate strategies used in identifying what the organizations are best at doing so to compete in multiple markets. In simple terms, core competencies are behaviors or strategies of an organization that make it stand out or prosper even in a wide and competitive market. This means that core competencies are those that make the organization or business withstand the competitions among organizations and be successful in their goals. Also, core competency encompasses the knowledge, skills, and technology that create unique customer value. Hence, core competencies are unique to an organization, and this make the customers always choose to buy their products or avail of their services.
There are three core competencies in human resources. The first one is communication. It is all about the connection, interaction with others. So through communication, employees become informed with how the company works, benefits and training opportunities, and policy changes. Next is thinking. Absorbed concepts are processed into newfound knowledge, contributing to intellectual development. So this is important on how you process information habitually and metacognitively. And lastly, personal and social. Relate to how one's identity is shaped through self-awareness and social responsibility. So of course, it's important to comprehend where one stands as a member of the organization or as a member of the society, which then provides a sense of ease when striving to achieve a purpose.
Of core competencies. First is that core competencies allow a business to stand out in a crowded market from all nearest competitors. As we all know, core competencies serves as the foundation of a business, wherein data and information from planning to production process are only exclusive to those of a business organization alone. That is why, despite the emerging competitors, the business will still stand out in the market because other companies and businesses can easily replicate their products and services. Second, core competencies help in creating and developing new goods and services. It only means that core competencies allow the business to spark for new strategies by anticipating the customer's unlimited needs and wants and create new products and services to satisfy it. Lastly, core competencies decide the future of the organization. This decides the features of the structure of global competitive organizations. That is why one of the main focus of the business should be on innovations for it to stay in the market.
So the first test to identify a core competency is if it provides a potential access to a wide variety of markets. For example, Honda Motors Corporation is known for its automobiles and motorcycles as the main products that they offer to customers. In fact, according to one report, Honda Cars is ranked number 9 in most number of sales in the world for 2021. However, they do not only offer products in the automobile and motorcycle industry, but they also produce aircrafts, watercraft generator, and several garden equipments.
The second core competency is a core competency should make a significant contribution to the perceived benefits of the end product. It's like you identify the underlying skills, ability, knowledge, experience, technology, or process that enables your company to provide its unique set of product or service. You need to determine on how you can use your company core competency to develop strategic responsiveness to gain competitive advantage.
A core competence should be difficult to replicate or imitate, and it should be rare. Here's a list of common business core competencies. Ceaseless innovation, example QuickBooks. QuickBooks has dominated the accounting software industry for decades. The brand's ceaseless innovation is the crux of its competency model. Clever, successful marketing, example Target. Target has continued to expand in large part because its brand is undeniable. Great customer service, example Amazon. Amazon is arguably the most omnipresent brand in the world, and its success comes in large part from its unparalleled ability to provide excellent customer service. Formidable size and buying power, example McDonald's. Part of why McDonald's has been able to expand its dominance, not just in the US market but also internationally, is its size and buying power.
So Matthews and Brugman identified 12 elements of innovation that would allow people to understand what the term entails. Now, of that 12, the first one is innovation degrees, and with innovation degrees there are three subtopics. So the first one is incremental innovation. Incremental innovation are small-scale improvements on what is already being done, often with the intention to improve efficiencies, to reduce costs of production, or to improve the quality of our product or service. Now, you can think of this as really minor improvements to a specific product or service. For example, Samsung has a different way of creating their AMOLED screens that they call Super AMOLED, although the differentiation with other OLED screens is really small, but it distinguishes them from the market. The other one, another example could be automation, right? Automation improves efficiencies and reduces cost. Those are incremental innovations.
The second subtopic under innovation degrees is evolutionary innovation that includes doing things for existing customers and markets. They also extend product offerings to new customers and markets. The third subtopic under innovation degrees, and also the last, is revolutionary innovation, is when business pursue new products, business and customers, and markets. This type of innovation has a much higher impact than those of either incremental and evolutionary innovation, as it embodies the concept of truly starting from the scratch. So that is the subtopics under innovation degrees.
Okay, so for the first type of innovation, it is disruptive innovation. So in disruptive innovation, technological and behavioral changes have favored the emergence of disruptive innovation in recent decades. This type of innovation follows the market more than a specific brand, product, or service. It can be leveraged by something a company has offered and, as a result, made their name, but in general, it's a scalable change that reaches many people at the same time. Another type of innovation is incremental innovation. It adds new features to a product, brand, or production methods without promoting a very drastic change. It usually is an evolution of an innovation already implemented by the brand that complements and offers improvements, be it employees, customers, or features of a business.
So hi, my name is Sheena Abed and I will be discussing architectural innovation. So architectural innovation occurs when new products or services use existing technology to create new markets or new consumers that did not purchase that item before. This innovation is amazing at increasing new customers as long as the new market is receptive. Most of the time, the risk involved in architectural innovation is low due to the reliance and reintroduction of the proven technology, though most of the time it requires tweaking to match the requirements of the new market. A good example for this is the smartwatch that used the existing cell phone technology and was repackaged into a watch.
Allow me to discuss about the innovation direction. So there's an underlying promise that innovation assumed to be the end of things rather than a form of change. So the impetus to innovate is independent from strategic analysis of where and how innovation can improve the organization's fit to purpose. There are actually two kinds of innovation, which is the invention, that is creating something new, and iteration, changing a part of something in order to make it new and better for the society. So innovation is a major driving force to long-term economic growth and sustainable development. Direction of innovation matters because technical change is not neutral and hence bears significant social, economic, and environmental development implications. So in simple sense, innovation direction relies on an interplay of an array of capabilities, tools, systems, and the forward innovations about making an innovation. The tools, sources, and parts can be found inside the target country where you're going to sell it, while the reverse innovation, you get the needed resources from another target, but your target country to sell this innovation is in another country.
Hello everyone, this is Marvin Arcola, and together with Mr. Vocal, we'll be discussing about the innovation risk. Let's first discuss the two types of innovation ecosystem. Internal ecosystem is a firm that is independent of other companies, and external ecosystem is a company that is dependent on other companies. All partners must coordinate in their efforts so that each partner effectively executes their roles and innovation risks are managed rather than ignored. These are the companies that is innovating regardless of risk. Apple and Amazon are the example that these companies expanded and gained success in the world of business or entrepreneurship. First type of innovation risk is the co-innovation risk. In this type of risk, the entrepreneurs should or need a collaboration with its business partners in order to succeed in the business. This kind of risk only happens to those innovations who are supported by other entrepreneurs or companies like your suppliers and investors. Co-innovation risk involves determining whether or not your collaborators produce the co-innovations required for your innovation to succeed. External innovation ecosystem is applied in this type of risk, co-innovation risk. That's it. Here is Ms. Vocal. Thank you.
Thank you, Marvin, for that wonderful explanation. So now let us proceed with adoption chain risk. Adoption chain risk arises when numerous enterprises in the value chain develop innovative products and services at the same time. If one company, for example, launches a product that must be serviced by another before that other company is ready to provide that service, the product release may fail. So it's according to Matthews and Bergman, 2015. So in the wide lens, Dartmouth entrepreneurship professor Ron Adner explores the risks associated with innovation. So adoption chain risk applies the idea of a supply chain to innovation, according to him. So to build a new ML-focused microchip, for example, is a startup relies on the chip fabrication plant to develop 7nm equipment, and inertia is one of the biggest blockers in sale. It doesn't exist just for the customer. It's there for every member of the downstream chain. Adoption chain risk is defined as the extent to which partners will need to adopt your innovation before and customer can assess the complete value proposition. And adoption chain risk applies to supply chain concept to innovation. So actually you can understand the innovator perspective appropriately and better through this illustration. So you can actually, this is actually a self-explanatory since the illustration is well defined.
Thank you, Ms. DeVocal. And now we will discuss the innovation of principles and tenants. So there are two organizations that are governed by principles. First is the profit organizations, and second is the non-profit organization. So profit organizations take the opportunity to meet the needs of their shareholders. It is an organization whose main objective is to make money. The majority of legal entities are thought to be for-profit businesses. So a profit organization exists to earn or make profit. Example for this is the telecommunications like Globe, PLDT, and Dito that gives promos, rewards, and best services to satisfy their shareholders. They even choose popular personalities to promote their services, which makes their shareholders continue to avail their services. So for non-profit organization, according to Salomon 1999, it is frequently take the opportunity to solve social issue. Instead of making money for the owners or investors, it is set up for the benefit of the public or everyone. So non-profit organization exists to serve the society. The income of the non-profit organizations came from donations. So example for this is the charity works, volunteerism, NGOs, and any other non-organizations that helps to combat social issues. So the goals of these two organizations should not be limited in accordance to their principles. There should be innovations to their principles and tenets. This organization should redefine themselves as pursuing the creation of shared value rather than just profits.
So we are done in introducing the two organizations that governed the principles and tenets in an innovation. So now let us move on to the innovation principles and tenets itself. So companies must take the initiative in reunifying society. The majority of companies still place societal issues in the periphery rather than the center of their social responsibility efforts. So the shared value principles, however, are the answer. When we say shared value principle, it involves producing economic value in a way that meets the needs and challenges of society while also producing value for the economy. So it is also a new strategy for achieving economic success rather than social responsibility, philanthropy, or even sustainability. Moreover, shared value creation aims to propel the next wave of innovation and productivity growth in the global economy instead of just doing it for pure financial gain. Additionally, it will also alter capitalism's role in the society.
I'm Darlene M. Delgado and my partner Joseph Lechedo. We're going to discuss innovation threshold. Innovation thresholds. An innovation threshold is a marker that each business sectors need to achieve in order to be competitive. Organizations should strive to achieve their innovation threshold. An organization cannot under-innovate if it wants to succeed, while over-innovation would be wasteful and ineffectual. According to Matthew Bergenman in 2015, innovation thresholds range from low to high and are different for each business sectors. Once an organization achieves the innovation threshold, additional innovation may not matter. Organizations must rely on alternative innovation competences once they have reached their innovation threshold, and further innovation may not add enough value to be worthwhile. For example, some industries like insurance and airlines have relatively low product innovation threshold. So after reaching it, they must rely on other forms of innovation and entrepreneurship competences, such as creativity, culture, strategy, leadership, and technology to further advance their goals.
To continue, these are some of the examples of innovation and entrepreneurship competencies that they rely on to advance their goals. First is creativity, the ability to generate fresh ideas and solutions to problems. It is the capacity to foresee the future and to come up with concepts, answers, and inventions before they are required. It is the capacity to address a client's or customer's issues before they even become aware of them. Second is culture, an environment in which people are encouraged to experiment, create, and take risks. It enables them to comprehend how they ought to behave with clients, co-workers, and superiors, as well as in how to conduct professionally and successfully within the company in general. Culture can boost a company's performance if it is managed well. Next is strategy. The process by which an organization creates and recreates the core relationship that it has with the environment. The pattern of decision made by an organization is changed widely and largely simultaneously under this technique. Next is leadership. It entails bringing together and inspiring a group of individuals to work toward a shared goal through innovation, risk management, maximizing opportunities, and managing a dynamic organizational environment. And lastly is technology. It is the advancement or investment made in a project that brings together and uses specialized individuals and diverse resources that are intricately tied to scientific and technological advancements in order to create and capture value for a firm.
Now, let us move on the criteria for innovation. Companies often tell us they are unsatisfied with their innovation process. They lack confidence in the offerings they are taking to the market. They are running out of new sets of ideas and clues for growth and development. They ask, what is wrong with our process? But the most probable question for them is, how do they know they have an innovation process at the first place? If we try to help them improve something that has fundamental design flaws, we end up putting small bandages on a mortal wound. Leading companies are motivated to figure this out and to know what is it all about. I am Ella Shane Relano Cordial from BAPOS AP41, and I will discuss to you the first 3 criteria for innovation. The first step is understanding or understood. A high-performing innovation process comes fully equipped with a common language and agreed upon definitions for key elements of the innovation process. For example, a product team must share a common language to answer the following questions. What is a market? What is a customer need? What types of needs exist? What constitutes an acceptable customer need input? How are customer needs measured and prioritized? In the absence of agreed upon language of innovation, team members will talk past one another, making consensus difficult and measurement impossible. But with the help of these criteria, it can pave way in having unity in knowing what really the market is and what will it take to cater the market's demand. If ideas are divided and don't correlate with one another, there is a possibility that the whole plan will crumble. So understanding is a must and a key. The second one is prescriptive. A successful business process details exactly what steps must be taken to achieve the desired output. Without this prescription, you don't have a process. What you have is a recommendations or a conceptual model. Neither qualify as a process. A question for you is, does your innovation process provide clear guidance on what steps must be taken? Many companies abdicate this responsibility because they feel that it takes away creativity. But without having this step or criteria, there will be no exact direction. The whole thing will more likely be a lost idea. Innovation is about having a product, service, business model, or strategy that's both novel and useful. And it will only be novel and useful if you know what is it for and for whom it is prescribed. The third step is efficient or efficiency. Our process must be efficient, void of unnecessary steps, and capable of helping the company achieve their desired output with the least input. This efficiency criterion flies in the face of the fail-fast, iterative, innovation thinking that is popular today. Remember, just because something is popular does not mean it is right. Innovation teams should ask themselves, what piece of information do we need now to prevent us from having to do this over and over again in the next iteration? If that piece of information could be captured when needed, then that iteration would become unnecessary, improving efficiency. Another point is being efficient increases profits with fewer expenses and more time. You'll be able to increase your product range and begin creating more products. You will be able to fulfill bigger orders, and by making more sales, you'll see an uplift of your business profits over time. After all, efficiency is about making the best possible use of resources.
Good day, I am Angela Grace Masada, and I am to discuss the last 3 parts of criteria for innovation excellence. So, number 4, the measurable. A process must contain elements that can be measured and quantified. This might sound too obvious, but you would be surprised how many innovation processes lack measurability. For example, many innovation processes cannot measure if a customer need is not being met or not. Or worse yet, the poor definition around the customer need means they are measuring the wrong thing. As Peter Drucker said, you can't manage what you can't measure. Number 5. Repeatable. A process must be repeatable by others and be consistently applied, achieving similar results each time. If not, it is something other than a process. Some call it alchemy. And lastly, effective. A process must deliver consistent value as it outputs, otherwise it is not worth doing for innovation. Improved market success is the reason for creating and executing the process. If success is not consistently achieved, then all of the key steps of the process have not been identified and controlled.
Good day, this is Kisha Macy Basea, and together with Matthew Sabilio, we will be discussing about the innovation process. First, let us define what innovation process is. So, an innovation process is a set of steps between an idea's conception and its implementation. It is a streamlined process that is managed in a way that reflects a company's structure and innovation goals. Turning an idea into reality requires establishing an innovation process. That process forces you to think through different steps to ensure you're solving the right problem, regularly gathering customer feedback, iterating when necessary, and securing the right resources and methods to fully realize the innovation. The innovation process is broken into phases, according to Tucker Marion, an associate professor in Northeastern University's Diamore Mackin School of Business and director of the Master of Science in Innovation program. Meanwhile, according to Alcor Fund, a global investment bank with operations in Asia, Middle East, Europe, Africa, and the Americas, innovation process is referred to as when a new product, market, method of production, source of supply, or organizational structure is introduced to an industry. The ability to transform an idea into a feasible concept is the innovation process' most encouraging aspect. So to discuss about the importance of innovation process, we now pass the microphone to Mr. Matthew Sabilio.
A pleasant day to each and everyone. I am Matthew Sabilio, and I will be discussing the importance of innovation process. First, solving problems. If your company offers services, you may have noticed that your clients lack a channel to express their thoughts, grievances, and compliments. In order to address the issue, you might choose to run a virtual office where clients' demands can be met quickly, and your sales will increase as a result of the satisfied customers. Next is adapting to change. Innovation is the way to ensure that your company survives the inevitable changes while also being relevant and successful. As a result, when you promote an innovation culture, you constantly remain relevant. Next is maximizing on globalization. Global markets are becoming more interconnected, and new markets are opening up larger opportunities. For instance, innovation is essential if your business wants to capture this market share so that you can take advantage of the chances that are growing. Next is facing off the competition. You can compete effectively by having a creative company that can make strategic and inventive actions so stand out from the competition. This will help you maintain or establish your company's sharp edge. Next is evolving workplace dynamics. Workplace characteristics are experiencing ongoing change. Therefore, innovation is essential to making sure the business runs smoothly. Customers shifting likes and preferences. The modern consumer has access to a wide range of goods and services. As a result, the business must stay up to date on these changing consumer preferences and develop fresh approaches to engaging them. MIT ID Innovation Program is a one-year PG program for self-driven and passionate individuals who aspire to create and innovative products, services, and businesses for today's and the future world. According to them, the importance of innovation process is that innovation is crucial, especially for developing enterprises in a competitive market. by creating products that deliver the greatest results and meet the needs of their clients that enables them or the company to gain a stronger position in the market.
I'm back, and in this juncture, I will be discussing about the stages of innovation process. So there are 5 stages in the innovation process. The first one is the idea generation and mobilization. Second stage is the advocacy, screening, and experimentation. Third stage is the solution. Fourth, commercialization and marketing. And fifth, the final stage, diffusion and implementation. So in the first stage, the generation stage is the starting line for new ideas. Successful idea generation should be fueled both by the pressure to compete and by the freedom to explore. Idea generation techniques include creative techniques and design thinking, and mobilization occurs when the idea is moved to a different logical or physical location. The second stage involves extensive analysis to gather as much information as possible. It helps to evaluate the feasibility of a business idea with its potential problems and benefits. Hence, decisions can be made about an idea's future and potential. Third stage is the solution. It aims to develop a worthwhile and ready-to-use solution that can be brought to the market. Solutions are developed, prototypes built, and tests carried out. In the fourth stage, the commercialization step develops market value for an idea, product, or service by focusing on its impact. The commercialization stage involves bringing the product to potential customers. It also requires the physical availability of the product by the manufacturers. These include mass production, procurement, and logistics based on defined concepts. And in the fifth and final stage, diffusion and implementation. Diffusion is the spread and acceptance of a company's innovative idea. The diffusion and implementation step allows the organization to determine the next set of customer needs, benchmarks, indicators for success, metrics, and receiving feedback enables the organization to stimulate the innovation process.
Risks of innovation process. Since the innovation process involves the introduction of new goods and products, there's also the danger that the new product or concept won't be successful once it is introduced. There are risks that can be managed in a number of ways. First is financial strain, the challenge of draining resources of the company from the innovation process. This is due to the fact that long-term rewards typically outweigh short-term ones. Therefore, if this is done, it may be possible to avoid making the necessary adjustments to prevent any significant losses once the product is mass-produced. Next is market failure. Failure to successfully launch new goods or technologies on the market indicates that there will be little demand, which makes the innovation commercially uncompetitive. As a result, you should conduct thorough market research before allocating your limited resources to its development and manufacture. Next is redundancy. An effective innovation made today can become outdated in the near future due to market developments. To keep ahead of the trend, research on how to enhance the current systems and the causes affecting them must be continuous. The lack of capacity for implementation. It is dangerous to launch an invention when you don't have the structural and financial resources to do it. You could decide to look for partners who can help you where you fall short and help you get over the problem. Next is organizational risks. These risks relate to how the firm is organized and managed. Therefore, doing good planning and resource allocation helps to ensure that this does not occur. Unprecedented risks. They could involve political upheaval or policy changes that have a domino effect that reduces the impact of the innovation. The company must therefore maintain a contingency plan to protect it from such unforeseen disasters. According to navalbusinessinfo.co.uk, this is a plea offered by Invest Northern Ireland. It is the official online channel for business advice and guidance in Northern Ireland. There are various innovation risks that can affect your company. These risks include operational, such as not meeting your criteria for quality, cost, or schedule. Next is commercial, such as failing to grow in enough clients. And lastly is financial, that's such as investing in failed innovative projects. That's all from my part. Thank you for listening.
Good day, everyone. My name is Laval Marlon Bialdaba, and I will be discussing innovation diffusion together with Iris Francis Pelicano. So, what is innovation diffusion? Diffusion of innovation, also known as DOI, is a theory popularized by American communication theorist and sociologist Everett Rogers in 1962 that aims to explain how, why, and the rate at which a product, service, or process spreads through a population or social system. The diffusion of innovation theory is used extensively by marketers to understand the rate at which consumers are likely to adopt a new product or service. The adoption of a new product, service, or idea is not an overnight phenomenon. It does not happen simultaneously across all people in all social systems. According to research, consumers who adopt an innovation earlier demonstrate different characteristics than someone who adopts an innovation later. Therefore, for marketers, understanding the characteristics of each segment that will either help or hinder the adoption of an innovation is important. Rogers was convinced that the adoption of innovations follows a universal process of social change. It originated in communications to explain how, over time, an idea or product gains momentum and spreads or diffuses, hence the name, through a specific population or social system. Here are four main elements of innovation diffusion. There are four main interacting elements of key concept. Diffusion of innovations. First is an innovation, second is communicated through certain channels, third is over time, and fourth among members of a social system. Definition of innovation: it is an idea, practice, or object that is perceived as new by an individual or group or organization. Communication is the process by which participants create and share information to one another in order to reach a mutual understanding. Time involved in the innovation decision process, the time taken to adopt an innovation by the adopter, and the adoption rate across the social system. Lastly, the social system, which is a set of interrelated social units, for example, individuals, informal groups, and organizations that are engaged in problem solving to achieve a common goal. It determines the boundary for a diffusion process, and it can be affected by norms and the degree to which individuals can influence one another.
Good day, I am Aris Francis Pelicano, and I'll be continuing the discussion on innovation diffusion. So the theory outlines 5 different categories of adopters. It shows how adoption decisions are taken in waves. These adopter categories are as follows. First is the innovators, those who wants to be the first to try out the innovation, and they are also people who are invested in new concepts. They are adventurous and risk-taking. Second are the early adopters, those who are open to new ideas and are comfortable with change. They want to take on a leading position as a role model and trendsetters. They embrace the opportunity for change. Third is the early majority, individuals who adopt new innovations before the average person. However, evidence that the innovation works is required before this category will adopt it. They are comfortable changing their behavior, but only insofar as it improves their lifestyle and or productivity. Fourth is the late majority. The late majority are skeptical. They are doubtful to change and will only adopt an innovation after it has been widely accepted and adopted by the majority of people. When they do adopt ideas, it's often out of social or economic necessity. And lastly are the laggards. They are characterized by the individuals who are extremely traditional and conservative. They are the last to adopt new technologies. They view innovators and innovations with suspicion, so they adopt very late. So according to Rogers, the 5 adopter categories are as follows. So the innovators, who represents the first 2.5% of the group to adopt an innovation, followed by 13.5% as early adopters, 34% as early majorities, 34% as late majority, and 16% as laggards. So what is the importance of the diffusion of innovation? So the theory aids marketers in understanding how trends emerge and helps businesses in determining the possibility of success or failure of their new product introduction. Furthermore, it evaluates the acceptance of an innovation within the context of a social system where the focus is not on the individual but on the entire society. And lastly, when a company knows each stage of the diffusion innovation, it is easier to build strategies to reach the consumer at each stage, hence encouraging consumption of the innovation.
Pace of innovation refers to the rate at which technical innovations are developed and occurs, with the most obvious example being too slow or too fast. So what can you do to be the lasting positions? The only true lasting source of competitive advantage these days is the pace of innovations. Why does pace of innovations matter? Pace of innovation is the rate at which it can improve its presence, goods, and services, reducing uncertainty and mitigating complexity. When you are working on something new or something complex, it's usually impossible to perfectly plan out in everything in advance. Creating and capturing value faster. One of the key benefits of rapid pace of innovation is that when you actually bring changes to the market, you will be creating a lot more value a lot more quickly. Capturing some matter right away with a 100% certainty is always doing better than capturing a bit more in the future. Ability to adapt to change faster. When you have the system and culture in a place to swiftly bring new products to markets, you can naturally respond to market shifts far faster than competitions. Speed by design of innovations. In the software world, it is very important to ensure that all aspects of development and deployment of your products and services are automated.
So Ms. Castillo and I were assigned to discuss about what is value innovation. So let us first start with answering the question, what is value innovation? So it refers to the process by which a business develops new technologies or improvements that are intended to achieve both product distinctiveness and low costs. It is specifically a strategic priority for achieving high growth in a company and strives to simultaneously provide clients with significantly improved value while cutting expenses for the business that serves those customers. It forces you to define new areas to produce value where there is no competition. The goal is to generate new demand and transform the market sufficiently to make the rivals obsolete in that market. So here are the two divisions of value innovation. First is cost savings, which are made by eliminating and reducing the factors an industry competes on. Secondly, we have buyer value, which is lifted by raising and creating elements the industry have never offered.
Value innovation, there are 4 action steps to add value into strategy. The first one is create. It is a new market opportunities and industry elements that can add value that weren't previously available. Second one is reduce. Any of those elements that were merely a byproduct of the struggle for differentiation among market participants. The third one is eliminate. It is essential elements which have historically served as the cornerstone of industry competition. The fourth one is the raise. Those elements that must be elevated above their current level in the industry. Value. For example, the Virgin Atlantic, where the airline made a risky choice by cutting first-class services while the business class brought in more money. These services increased prices.
Coined in the early 1990s by Clayton Christensen, disruptive innovation refers to the process of changing the market rather than the new product or service itself. It is an innovation that shakes up an established industry, often using new technologies. Disruptive innovation has 3 components. First is enabling technology innovation, which can drive radical change in the capabilities of a user or culture. Then, innovative business model, which brings new idea or technology to an existing market. And last is the coherent value network.
Ms. Arante discusses the definition and concept of disruptive innovation, and now I will be discussing the types of disruptive innovation models. First is the new market disruptors. New market disruptors develop products or solutions that are so much more affordable or convenient than existing options that it can be adopted by entirely new segments of the population. Next is the low-end market disruptors. At low-end of existing value networks, low-end market disruption occurs. Unlike new market disruption, it doesn't consider introducing a game-changing alternative. Rather, low-end market disruptors create a more attractive offer for existing competitors' customers. Low-end market disruptors commonly repel incumbent attacks because low-end disruption results in lower profit margins that may not be worth the time or investment from incumbents.